Good morning, my dear friends. It's a very nice morning. I just feel privileged to invite you all for this video class. Let me introduce myself once again. This is P. Krishnamurthy, lecturer in English, working at Government Degree College for Women, WANAPARTHY. Okay, my dear friends, you know very well grammar has got its own importance in the present scenario. Whenever you write any competitive examination, whenever you speak, when you communicate, you definitely have to take the assistance of grammar. As long as you are not thorough in grammar, so especially for the people who learn English and speak and who learn English and communicate, it's always the fear complex that has been there in the background. They think that they do certain mistakes. When they write an essay, they feel that some spelling mistakes might be committed, some grammatical mistakes might be taken place. This kind of phobia that would be in the minds of the people. How to avoid this phobia? How to avoid this fear complex from your mind? The best thing is that you have to practice sincerely. You have to practice how to write correct English. You have to practice how to speak correct English. And you have to practice certain grammatical exercises. You have to practice the spelling. You have to look up the words in the dictionary for meaning. You have to make regular practice of speaking, writing, listening, and all this. So reading, that's called LSRW. LSRW, listening, you have to listen to any learner person, you listen to your teacher, you listen to your lecturer, and you write, and you just speak. So we have been talking about various fragments of grammar, how one can build up vocabulary, how one can improve one's grammar sense in English language. Every bit is equally important to that of any other part in grammar. We can't just say that one part is more important than the other. Every part has got its own recognition. Every part has got its own importance. Every part has got its own responsibility in the communication. That everyone has to say. Some people while teaching grammar, we say, or the teaching faculties say like this: tense or grammar is very, very important. No doubt it's very important, but it doesn't mean that other parts are not important. Every component has got its own importance, its own significance in communication of grammar. So, dear friends, in the previous class, we had a very good discussion on spelling. What are the ways to improve our spelling? How can we create words? How can we form words? And how do we make use of the prefixes? How do you make use of suffixes? How can you form words with the use of some suffixes or maybe prefixes? I could say like that also. And today in the part 2, we are going to extend how the words are formed with the assistance of prefixes and suffixes. Yesterday, we had very brief discussion about the spellings, as I could say that one. We discussed the misspelled words. You just recall and revise what you have understood in the previous class on spelling. Misspelled words. So it's very common. It's a common thing in most of the learned people also. They write wrong spelling. They think it's a correct spelling only. In fact, they get a bit confused. They feel it's correct, but it's not correct. It's not correct. So how do you develop that kind of confidence on yourself as far as this area of spelling is concerned. The better you practice, the better you are in touch with all the spellings of the words. So you always try to read, try to speak, write, try to write and just refer all the words in the dictionary. So yesterday we have discussed the misspelled words, and we discussed how antonyms are formed with the help of prefixes like un and dis. How certain antonyms are formed with the help of prefixes un and dis. Important, unimportant. Authorized, unauthorized. Comfort, discomfort. Like that, we have studied very well. So with the help of the prefixes, how certain words are, how these antonyms are prepared. It's very easy. Not all the time that you have to look for antonyms, exact antonyms. Sometimes, you can make the words with the usage, with the prefixes called un and dis. And we have done exercise on spellings in the previous video class. And today we'll try to know more about the spellings. Before we enter in detail to the spellings, let us try to make it very clear what is meant by prefix, what is called prefix and what is called suffix. Of course, there will be a separate chapter allotted for prefixes and suffixes in the first year. But here we have the reference of prefixes and suffixes. Some of the students do have certain confusions in their minds. Why sir repeatedly uses the word called prefix and why sir uses the word suffix repeatedly? What does it mean? What do we understand about that one? Which one is called prefix? Which one is called suffix? And how the magic is taken place with the use of this one, prefix and suffix. And there might be a lot of doubts in the minds of the students. So as a teacher in English, I would like to clarify the doubts of the students. And I really feel proud to say that I really love of clarifying the doubts of the students in the classes and even the outside of the classes also. Whenever they make a phone call regarding the doubts, maybe doubts in verbs, doubts in adjectives, doubts in articles, doubts in any branch of grammar of English. So to the best of my knowledge, I tried my best to provide sufficient clarification for them. So here, let us try to know before we enter the main topic of spelling, because these two terms are frequently used by me and frequently used in the PPT also. Some people do have certain inhibitions and certain doubts also in their mind. So doubt is the beginning of wisdom. As we have completed value orientation chapter, so in that value orientation chapter, we have discussed very clearly how the proverbs are going to provide extra values to the students, how they are going to imbibe human values. So doubt is the beginning of wisdom. Here some students may pose a question, what exactly do you understand? What exactly do you give definition for this term prefix? So prefix means a word fragment or a part of word added in the front of a word. Added in front of a word. Prefix is a fragment of a word that is going to be added in front of or in the beginning of a word. In the beginning of a word. A fragment of a word or a part of word that is going to be added in front of a word. So for example, I just say to you, unable. Unable so is a word. In unable, un is prefix. Able is a word. So un is going to be added to able the word, and automatically it becomes another word. Unable, able, unable. Able is a word, and when you want to make that able, when you want to know the antonym of able, so you just do, so add prefix un to that able, it becomes antonym, it becomes a different word also, unable. It gives negative meaning. I'm able to teach English grammar. I'm unable to teach English grammar. You see this one? A says, I'm able to speak in English. B says, I am unable to speak in English. You are able to see the two persons. One is well versed in English, the other one is not able to speak in English. You don't take so much of pain of searching for new antonyms. You just easily create antonym by the use of prefix, like un. So unable, it's a new word, it's a new antonym. So formed with the help of prefix un is added to the word able, unable. There is another word also, disappear. Disappear. Appear is a word, and you are going to add prefix disappear, disappear. So it becomes antonym of appear. So like that, prefix is a fragment of word added in front of a word. A fragment, or so a part of word that is added in front of a word, and that part is called prefix. By adding that part, by adding the prefix, a word becomes another word, a word becomes antonym. It's very, very easy when you learn from these two words, able, unable, and appear, disappear. Now, let's try to understand what is meant by suffix. What is meant by suffix? Suffix means a word fragment or a part of word at the end of a word. Remember here, that is the vice versa, I could say like that one. So suffix means a word fragment or a part of word that is added at the end of a word. Prefix is getting added, so in front of a word, suffix is going to be added at the end of a word. Example, action, act. Act is a word, ION is suffix. ION is a fragment of word. This is a fragment of word that is added to the word act at the end of that word. So act becomes action. That is the magic of suffix. So action. Act means to act. Action, the process of action. So act, action. The state of act. Being of act. So entertainment. Entertain. Entertain is a verb. Act is a verb. So whenever you want to change that verb, you just add TION, SION, or MENT. When you study the word called action, act is a word. When you want to convert that act, the verb, into noun, just ION, you just add that suffix to that act. It is just turned into noun. Entertainment. Entertain is a verb. By adding MENT, the suffix at the end of that entertain, and it becomes noun. You see the magic of this one? So the suffix says ION, SION, both mean act of or state of being. The suffixes TION, SION, both mean act of or state of being. You try to understand this one. So both of them, they try to indicate they are going to change verbs as nouns. Let's see how it happens. So yeah, here you find a list of words. Here you find a list of words ending in tion, sion, tion, sion. That you see here. So converting the verbs, converting the verbs into nouns by using the suffixes tion and sion. You see this one. Converting the verbs. You can convert a verb by adding tion or sion, converting the verb into nouns by adding the suffixes called tion, sion. Okay, let us study this one. Let us study how it happens. So here is just I read the list of the verbs. You try to understand that one. So here the list of the words are verbs, and with the addition or with the addition of suffix tion and sion, and all these verbs are going to be converted into nouns. You understand this one. So act, it's a verb. Express, it's a verb. Express is a verb. Persuade is a verb. I act accordingly. So I express, they express it. It expresses, I express my opinion. We express our opinion daily. I don't have any fear to express my opinion. You see here, I'm so using this verb as a primary, auxiliary, or maybe main verb. Act, the verb is there, act. Yeah, I act accordingly to my principles. Definitely, I'm going to take very, very suitable step to act accordingly. Express, I express my views. Persuade, we try to persuade. I persuade him to accept this one. Relate. It is not related. I don't relate this subject to that one. I don't relate this mistake to that one. You understand this one? This is a verb, relate. Relation is going to become noun. Okay, so why do I just express immediately? The verb act, it is going to become action with the addition of suffix ion. Act, the verb, it becomes noun with the suffix being added at the end of the word ion. Express. So express, this verb, it becomes noun with the addition of suffix. So what is called ion. sion, express, ion. Next, persuade. Persuade means to convince a person, to try to convince a person. So persuasion, sion, persuasion. Relate, relation. The verb relate is changed into noun with the addition of suffix at the end of the verb relate. Accommodate. You try to observe the spelling, the meaning of that verb, and you try to understand how that verb is getting converted to a noun with the addition of suffix like tion or sion. Accommodation. Here, tion is getting. What is that tion? This is called a part of a fragment of word. Tion is the suffix that is getting added to the word accommodate, and it becomes noun. Comprehend. Do you comprehend that one? Do you comprehend? Do you understand? So comprehend is a verb, and when you want to change that one into noun, sion, that's enough. Comprehension. So I have complete comprehension about that book. Reflect. You see here, reflect. Reflect is a verb. And reflection is a noun. Reflect is a verb. Reflection is a noun. Infuse. Infuse. You try to infuse, inject. I don't want to infuse unwanted ideas in the minds of the children. I try to infuse good qualities in the minds of the students. I try to infuse the noble thoughts in the minds of the students. Infusion, so that's called noun, S-I-O-N. The suffix S-I-O-N is getting so added to that infuse the verb and it becomes noun. Celebrate. Yeah, on 15th August, we are going to celebrate our Independence Day. We are going to celebrate. Celebrate, that's a verb. Celebration, that's a noun. Celebration, it's a common thing in India on 15th August. On 15th August, so celebrations are everywhere. Celebration is common from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Celebration of Independence Day, so is common. You see, you should also understand the spelling. You should also get perfection in spelling. You should know the meaning of that verb and how that verb is converted with the help or with the assistance so of this suffix being added at the end of that particular word. Invite, invitation, invite. When it is a verb, we say invite him. I feel glad to invite all of you to this spelling class. I feel so. I love to invite you to this video class. Invite. So the pronunciation also it moves. There is a big change when it is converted into noun also. Invite we say invitation. When it is converted into noun, we don't say invitation, invitation, invitation. So T-I-O-N, here that is very important, T-I-O-N. Next, you see this one, some more words are there. Explode, 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 explosion, S-I-O-N, explosion, S-I-O-N. Televise, T-E-L-E-V-I-S-E, televise, television, television. So how these verbs are converted into nouns with the suffixes of T-I-O-N and S-I-O-N. I hope everyone has understood about this one. Let's move on to the next. This is exercise. So underline the correct spelled word. Underline the correctly spelled word in each group. Underline the correctly spelled word in each group. So here you are going to have 6 groups of words. 6 groups of words are there, no? So in each group, there will be 3 words. So among these 3 words, of all these 3 words, 1 word has got correct spelling. The remaining 2 words are not correct. They are incorrect, I could say that. They are incorrect. Only 1 word is correct. That is called correct spelled word. The remaining 2 words are so misspelled words. I could say like that. They are called misspelled word. Only 1 word is correctly spelled word. So that correctly spelled word is going to be underlined. So ablution, ablution, ablution. Ablution. When you go to any pushkaras, maybe Krishna pushkaras, maybe to Tungabhadra pushkaras, maybe to Godavari pushkaras, or you go to any so sacred temple area, there Snan Ghat is there. You just take ablution in that holy river. Take ablution. Taking a dip in a holy water is called ablution. Taking a holy dip in a holy water is called ablution. So ablution, what is the spelling of ablution? A-B-L-U-T-I-O-N, ablution. But while writing, people do these kind of the mistakes. When they speak, there's no problem. They speak correctly. They pronounce correctly. But when it's the question of writing the spelling, suddenly one writes in one way, the other one writes in his own way. That's the very, very, very so alarming thing. When you talk to a person, he speaks good English, he communicates very well, his conversation is very, very up to the mark of IPA pronunciation. But when you read his essay, when you read the matter that is written by him, you find here and there some spelling mistakes. You understand, and you will be thrown into confusion. You will be thrown into the world of confusion. Whether it's ablution, whether it's ablution, whether it's ablution. And we get a lot of confusion when you read. So when a word is written wrongly by somebody else, that's the reason you have to check your spelling. You have to. How do you check your spelling? You can't. You can't check momentarily. You can't check at the same time when you complete that essay. So you have to feed the right spelling to your mind. How do you feed this one? Just by regular practice of spellings, just by regular practice of writing, just by regular practice of reading, just by regular referring of dictionary, you better understand. You keep the right spelling in your mind. And you do a lot of exercises on spellings also. Then that's also one of the ways how one can develop very well in spelling. Ablution. So ABLUTION. Suppression. You see, suppression. So what is the spelling of suppression? Generally, SUPPRESSION. Suppression. But people write suppression, suppression. But suppression, when you want to pronounce that word, I don't want to suppress anyone here. My intention is not to suppress anyone. I have no intention of suppressing anybody at all. When you listen to any dialogue in any one act play or any drama of William Shakespeare, a character comes onto stage and begins to speak a dialogue like that. Here, man and women, I have not come here to suppress anyone with my ideology. So the way how you use that word, suppress, the moment you utter, the moment you articulate, the moment you pronounce that word, the people, they understand the spelling of that one. So that's why articulation also, it also plays vital role in developing the spelling also. Sometimes, we write spelling, even though the words are very new words, so we write spelling, correct spelling, when you listen to a speaker correctly. When the speaker pronounces the words correctly, naturally, the writer also writes correct spelling. Everything, every component in grammar, every component in communication is equally important. I would like to say this one. You don't say that one part of grammar is more important, the other part of grammar is not important. You can't just say like that. This is really far from reality. A teacher is not supposed to inform to the students like this. Every part. So speaking has got impact on writing. Writing has got impact on speaking. Listening has got impact on your communication. Every part has got impact on the other and other, like that. I just say this one, suppression. So here, the first spelling that is written like this, SUPPRETION. So it's all very wrong spelling. It's a wrong spelling. And the third one also, SUPRESION. So we have to write here 2P and 2S. We have to use 2P and 2S, suppression. Next, brutalization. Brutalization is the most unkindest cut of all. Brutalization. When Caesar was murdered by all the conspirators, Brutus came on to the Roman mob, or Mark Antonio, so Antony came on to stage. It's the most unkindest cut of all. The world famous speech of Mark Antony. This is the most unkindest cut of all. What is called the most unkindest cut of all? The brutal killing of Caesar. The brutal killing of Caesar. It's nothing but brutalization. When a word you listen, so you need to understand the meaning, the usage, and the other parts of that particular word. Is it a noun? Is it a verb? Is it an adjective? Is it an adverb? Like that you have to understand thoroughly each and every word, and you develop that command over that particular word, and you can easily use that words freely, and you don't have any inhibition, you don't have any phobia or fear complex in your mind when you have thorough understanding of any particular word. This is the most unkindest cut of all. The character says like that. What is that? Brutalization. So Brutalization, brutalization. The remaining two spellings, the second one and third one, are incorrect. So next, invasion. Invasion, protruding, invading, invasion. Invade is a verb, invasion is a noun. S-I-O-N, invasion. Invade, invasion. Invade is a verb, I-N-V-A-D-E, invade. So invasion is a noun. The first one is correct, I-N-V-A-S-I-O-N. The remaining two things are incorrect. Clarification. 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 C-L-A-R-I-F-I-C-A-S-I-S-I-O-N. This is wrong. You don't get S-I-O-N, nor you get F-I-C-K-A. The right spelling of this clarification, C-L-A-R-I-F-I-C-A-T-I-O-N, clarification. The second one is correct. The second one is correct. Now we'll move on to the sixth group. There are three words, as usually they are kept in other group of words also. Partition. Partition is incorrect. The spelling is wrong. Partition. Partition is wrong. Coming to the third word, the correct spelling is printed there. Partition. P-A-R-T-I-T-I-O-N. Partition. So this is an exercise on spelling also. Let's move on to the next one. Words ending T-I-O-N and M-E-N-T. Words ending T-I-O-N and M-E-N-T. So completing the words using suffixes. Using the suffixes T-I-O-N or M-E-N-T. So completing the words. Here, a part of word is given. You are going to complete that word with a suitable suffix. Either it could be T-I-O-N or M-E-N-T. Whichever is correct, you are going to add that suffix to that word and make it correct. Here, my dear friends, part of the words are given. A list of words are given, only part of the words are given. The second part that is kept empty. What we have to do, we have to select the suitable suffix. It could be either T-I-O-N or M-E-N-T, whichever is correct to that particular part of word, and just make it meaningful word, and you try to understand the meaning of that one also. That's very important. So ID, A-D-D-I, ID. When you add T-I-O-N, it becomes addition. Addition. It becomes now add is a verb. Here, what is given? A-D-D-I is given. Neither it is a verb, nor it is a word. So only a part of word is given. The remaining part of the word is nothing but suffix. when the relevant suffix comes and joins that word, that part of word, that becomes a complete word. Here it becomes a noun. Addition. It becomes addition only when the suffix tin is added to that part of word. It becomes a word, and ultimately, so it becomes noun. Addition. Invention, like that. Invention, tin. Invent. Invent is a verb. Invent is a verb. Invention, tion. So ion. So tion. Invention is noun once again. Management. Manage is a verb. Management is a noun. Manage is a verb. Management is a noun. Ambition. You see this one? Ambition. AMBI. The part of the word remains like that. When the suffix ti1 comes and joins that word becomes a different word. It becomes a meaningful word. So ambition. It becomes noun. Ambition. Assignment. Assignment. MENT. The suffix MENT, when it joins that assign, it becomes a noun. It becomes a word. Assignment. Emotion. 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 So TI1 is suffix here. It is going to join to that part of word and it becomes emotion. And it's a noun. Next, infection. Infect is a verb. Infection is a noun. TION. So that is the suffix. It is going to join to that word and that part of the word and it becomes so noun. Investment. Invest is a noun. Infect is a noun. So like that. Infect. Infection. Invent. That's a verb. When you want to make that verb into so noun, so you have to add that one. So MENT. So you for certain words SION is correct. SION suffix is important. Persuasion. For certain words TION is important. That is a suffix. Infection. TION is suitable suffix. When it's going to join to that word, it becomes a complete word and it becomes a noun also. For investment, you can't use TION. So MENT. When MENT comes and joins that invest, it becomes investment noun. Assessment. You see this one? Assessment. 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 So MENT is the suffix here. And it becomes a noun. Assess. Assess is a verb. Why don't you assess? Why don't you assess yourself? Before you give any presentation, you assess yourself. Do you possess that quality or not? Assess your capacity, assess your talent, assess your skill. Then appear in the interview. And I'm sure that your assessment, your self-assessment, that is going to be helpful for your interview. So that's the self-assessment is also needed for each and every one. Self-assessment is nothing but self-introspection, self-testing, assessment, duration, TION, duration, TION. That's called duration. Alignment. You try to understand this one. Alignment. MENT. Alignment. So MENT, the suffix is going to join to that align. So that becomes a noun. Interrupt. That is verb. When TION is added to that interrupt, it becomes interruption, it becomes noun. Locate. That's a verb. TION is going to join the suffix and it becomes a location. It becomes a location. You try to understand this one. Location. Embankment. What do you understand by embankment? So by the side of the river or by the side of this sea, you find certain roads are laid. A bank is constructed with stones. with bowlers to safeguard the town or city or the roads from the tides or from the waves of the sea. So that's called embankment. Here, what is the suffix here? MENT. MENT. So MENT is the suffix. It's called embankment. Obstruction. What do you understand by obstruct? Obstruct is a verb, and when you want to change that one into noun, so TIY is going to be added. Obstruction. Obstruction means hindrance, hurdle. Obstruction means interruption, hurdle, stopping. So, like that. Shipment, MENT is the suffix. Shipment, MENT is the suffix. Perception, perceive. So, perceive, percept, perception, this is a noun. TIYN is noun. So, TIYN is suffix, then it is going to join to that one, perception. Retire, retire. When you add that suffix MENT, it becomes retirement. It becomes retirement. Retirement. Commitment. Commit and commitment. So, a day before, a popular, so a revolutionary leader of North AP, Vangapandu. So he passed away from this world. He was a committed singer. He was a committed, he was a committed member for the sake of the poorer sections. Committed. Whenever you want to say about a good teacher, you can say that he is a committed teacher. She is a committed teacher. He is a committed lecturer, committed professor. So when you commit yourself to the principles and to the primary duties, and you are called committed person. So this word is a very big word, a big term. This can be used so with a lot of care also. And you have to be very, very careful when you make use of this word committed. Committed. And you have to check whether the word is suited to that particular person or not. Then you can't just use so easily as you use certain words, other words also. Commitment, COMMITMENT, commitment. Fulfillment, FULFILMENT, fulfillment. Fulfillment, contentment, satisfaction. So that is all that one. So let's go to the next one. And that's called what we have learned today. What did we learn today? What did we understand today? We have understood what is meant by prefix. What is meant by prefix? For students who have got doubts about prefix, and I think I have clarified the doubts regarding prefix. So we have understood what is meant by prefix. A prefix is a fragment of word added in front of a word. Added in front of a word. That is the thing. Comfort, discomfort. Discomfort. This is prefix. Correct, incorrect. In is prefix. In is prefix. Action, reaction. Re is prefix. And what is meant by suffix? Suffix is a fragment of word. Is a fragment of word added at the end of a word. Suffix is a fragment of word added at the end of the word. What is called examination, betterment, commitment, election, invitation, In all these words, I think you are going to find that the suffixes are getting added to the part of words or words, and some verbs are turning into nouns, and some part of words are turning into nouns also. And we have understood how verbs are formed as nouns with the help of suffixes. Elect. Elect is a verb. Reflect is a verb. So reflect is a verb. Elect is a verb. By adding TIY1, so ION, so all of them, so all these two words become so nouns. So forming the verbs, so forming the verbs into nouns with the help of suffix. That's very, very important. Examine, examination, examination, pollute, pollution, collect, collection, collect, collection. So like that. Understood, we have understood how words are formed with the help of suffixes. Addi, as I so told you, ADDI, when you add the suffix TI1, it becomes a word. Addition, how new words are formed with the help of suffixes. That's a very, very important thing that everyone has to understand. And today we have understood the uses of the suffixes TION, SION with comfortable examples also. We have understood the uses of suffixes TION and MENT with sufficient examples. Dear friends, with this, I just feel that you have understood what is meant by prefix, what is meant by suffix, and how verbs are formed into nouns with the help of suffixes, and how words are formed with the help of suffixes, and the beauty of spellings that you understand it. So synonyms, antonyms, and regular practice of writing, regular practice of reading, regular practice of speaking, regular practice of referring the dictionary for the meanings of the words, you can easily improve the spellings. It's a routine process. It's a regular practice. It's a constant and continuous practice that one has to put it. Then one can be thorough and one can be commendable in spellings only. I wish that every student and every UG student and PG student could improve so the spellings with correct focusing on the areas. And I wish you all the best and thank you for listening to me. Thank you very much, and we'll meet on some other day on some other topic. Thank you very much once again. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you.